Mmekuja hapa mmeanza kuvuruga. Shall not give you any chance. You shall be given we are ceding nothing to you. And by the way, we are not pleading. We are giving strict instructions and directions.
Eric Chepkwony, the Vice Chairman, Ktda Holdings, and I'll proceed to issue a joint statement by Ktda Holdings and 54 factories on political interference in our company affairs and our factory affairs. Following numerous reports of interference by government officers and politicians, Ktda seeks to provide clarification on the matter. It has been noted with concern that management of small tea factories has experienced a lot of interference from some government officers and politicians. Some of the notable instances of interference experienced by Ktda are as follows. One is removal of reserve price by the Ministry of Agriculture without consultation with Ktda directors, leading to plummeting of tea prices at the Mombasa tea auction. Two, making pronouncements by the agriculture PS on separation of satellite factories from mother factories without considering the property interest of farmers. Three is calling on impromptu meetings with factory directors by government agencies of which the cost is borne by the farmers. Four, direct interference on board disputes at the Michi Miguru Tea Factory Company and purported suspension of directors by agriculture PS. Interference with the judicial process by making pronouncements on Michi Miguru directorship contrary to court ruling. On this particular one, on June 29, 2024, the factory shareholders held a transparent and democratic election, resulting in the appointment of a duly elected board of directors. However, in the ensuing months, a section of shareholders expressed dissatisfaction with the election outcome, leading to purported revision of a special general meeting, which resulted in election of the purported board. This request came after the annual general meeting slated for 6th December 2024 was disrupted and was unable to proceed. The Registrar of Companies has since granted an extension for 90 days. We urge the Registrar to respect the court order. Prior to the poached AGM, the PS4 Agriculture, accompanied by the local MP without notifying the factory board, visited Michi Miguru and made a declaration that the board stands suspended. This was contrary to the clear provisions of the Company Act. The factory board, prior to that announcement, was not given an opportunity to be heard contrary to the rules of natural justice. It is worth noting to note that officers of the National Police Service aided the convening of an illegal meeting, and the same officers could not contain violence organized by the conveners of the illegal meeting in the annual general meeting in December 2024. As an organization committed to the rule of law, we sought the intervention of the court. The court issued an injunction staying the implementation of any resolution passed in the subject meeting, which was scheduled for the 10th January 2025. All the matters of the legality of the said meeting and its resolutions are pending in court, and we are not at liberty to discuss them at this point. Effect on interference on the market. We have noted that whenever there is a negative publicity in the media, there is a direct impact on absorption of teas by our international buyers. Several tea factories have experienced low absorption of teas in the market due to the rankles and political interferences. This has an adverse effect on earnings of our farmers. We plead with all stakeholders to keep up from interfering with the boards elected by the farmers. Any matter of concern can still be handled through dialogue. Ktda remains committed to transparency. We understand that these developments have caused confusion and concern among the public and stakeholders in the tea industry. We would like to reassure all parties that the resolution of this matter will be guided by the legal and corporate governance frameworks in place. As an organization, we remain committed to transparency, accountability, and adherence to legal procedures. We ask for patience as the matter progresses through the appropriate legal channels. In the meantime, the current board and management will continue to serve the interest of our shareholders, employees, and the public. We will provide updates as situations unfold and remain dedicated to resolving this matter in full compliance. And we are seeking appointment with this excellent president so that we can also share our concerns. That is the end of our statement. I want to invite two of our board members. Okay, an agenda from Honorable Kaibombe, our board members.
Thank you, members for the state. We have the following to say in regard to the interference of the tea farmer and his affairs by certain officers of the government. And it is good to make it clear from the get-go that we are not faulting the government as a whole. We have 2-3 individuals who've decided and who have taken it upon themselves to make sure that the farmer will not enjoy the hard work of his hands. We want to put on notice PS Rono. PS Rono went to Chelal. He started a fight about separation of factories without the concurrence of the board, the farmers, or the board of holdings. He has left that place. He started making politics with the tea subsidy that was offered to farmers by the government. The president has been very committed on this. He misadvised the former cabinet secretary on removal of price floors that have kept the gains that we have seen over the last 3 years. Unilaterally, the CS came and announced to the media and to the public that he has removed the price floors. In effect, what that has done is that our prices have plummeted in the market. We are glad the president saw it fit to show the door the CS who did that. We thank you and congratulate you, Mr. President, for removing that CS Karanja. We are asking that if this PS Rono follows this route, please show him the door. I have seen you have advertised for the position of PSs. Let him be the first one to step out. On the issue of Michimikoro, I want to remind ourselves the fight that we fought prior to 1999 to remove government interference from the tea industry. The only reason this tea industry has survived and is feeding over 6 million people is because we took it upon ourselves and we decided to manage these affairs of the tea factories by ourselves, governed by the Companies Act of 2015. And now we have the Tea Act that is also governing tea affairs. And by the way, we want to tell even the politicians who want to go and make laws for Ktda as opposed to laws for tea sector, that we are just a subsector that happens to have the interests of the public, but we must be governed by the law that governs every other person in this industry. There is nobody who's going to make sure that we oppress the small-scale farmer so that we glorify and so that we make profits for other people who are in private business in the tea sector. We shall not allow it. And people must know that the affairs of Ktda are purely affairs of private companies. We are governed purely and strictly by the Companies Act of 2015. I have seen the DCI deciding that business shall not be conducted in Kamba, that Kamba board cannot appoint brokers who are going to sell their tea. Sincerely speaking, the affairs of procurement issues do not have anything to do with DCI. And if anybody is going to use, we said, and this government is very keen, we're just bringing it to the attention of the president, that there are people who are trying to weaponize government institutions. Government shall not impede business, and government shall not impede and deny farmers what is really their right to own property and to conduct business in this country without interference. The work of appointing brokers is purely the mandate of tea factory boards. It is purely within the law. And where it has been delegated to management services via a management agreement that is mutually agreed upon by the board of management services and the board of the individual tea factories. That management agreement must, and I say must, be followed. Please go and investigate other matters. These PS farmers are suffering when we have 2.7 billion shillings held by KDIC that went there when Imperial and Chase Bank went under. Instead of the PS getting concerned on how that money is going to be paid by the farmers, his work is to go to Michimikuru. And by the way, PS, if you have political ambitions, go to your village and vie as governor if you want to do that, and do not leave impoverished farmers in your wake. Stop making a name, a political name, using farmers' proceeds. You are causing chaos in the industry that has been very peaceful. We are aware your master is that person of Wamitego wa kusumbua hapa industry ya majani. Tukienda Mombasa anakuja kutusumbua. Sasa sisi tunakwambia wewe uachane na industry ya Ktda. Hawa wakulima walifanya, mulienda mkasema ati sijui nini uchaguzi ifanywe, wakarudisha hawa directors. Sasa mkaona haijatosha, umekuja hapa mmeanza kuvuruga. Shall not give you any chance. You shall be given no. We are ceding nothing to you. And by the way, we are not pleading. We are giving strict instructions and directions that this industry is no different from all other industries. All other people who practice private business must be allowed to work and operate within the established laws without any interference from anybody. And finally, because we have realized that the PS is using T-board to put together the 54 companies so that we become the people who are suffering to lift the tea sector in the country, shall not allow. What is good for the goose must be good for the gander. What is good for Ktda farmers must be good for the private farmers. And we shall be treated as such. And T-board of Kenya, Mr. Kahyu, na watu yako vinyangarika yako na hao watu unatumatuma hapa, afadhali tutaangaliana na wewe. Asante sana na tunashukuru rais kwa sababu ametusaidia kwa hiyo maneno mengine, lakini hapa sisi tunasema hao officers wako ambao wanatusumbua, tumia ule wembe ulitumia kwa Karanja, utoe hii watu yako. Asante.